History isn't always crowned on castles and noble battles. Sometimes it's messy, smelly, and completely absurd. Today we're exploring the funniest corners of the Middle Ages, from children drinking beer to nobles parading bears. These are the real oddities of medieval life, strange enough to be true and silly enough to make you laugh. In medieval Europe, water wasn't safe. Rivers carried waste from towns. Animals bathed in them, and people still drank from the same spots. So beer became the answer. Brewing boiled the water, making it safer. Even children drank a weak ale called small beer. At family dinners, kids raised mugs right alongside their parents. In schools, and students sipped beer at their desks, while frustrated teachers tried to keep order. It wasn't healthy by modern standards, but in the Middle Ages, beer was survival. Medieval fashion could be ridiculous. Nobles wore shoes with points so long, they had to tie them to their knees with chains. Walking was awkward, stairs were dangerous, and tripping was a daily embarrassment. But here's the funny part. The longer your shoes, the higher your status. Peasants laughed at nobles wobbling through the streets. But nobles thought they looked elegant. The sillier the shoe, the more important the wearer. Castles looked majestic from the outside, but their toilets were simply holes in the wall called garderobes. Waste dropped straight into the moat below. The smell was awful. The water turned toxic, and everyone knew it. Even worse, attackers sometimes crawled up through these chutes. Imagine defending your castle, only to realize the bathroom was the weak spot. Not exactly a tale for the history books. Who cleaned up all that mess? The Gong Farmers. These men climbed into cesspits at night, shoveling out tons of waste by hand. It was filthy, dangerous, and the smell followed them everywhere. They lived outside town because no one could stand being near them. But here's the twist. They were well paid, often earning more than ordinary peasants. So while everyone mocked them, the Gong Farmers went home richer than most. Yeah, it really happened. Animals sometimes went on trial in medieval courts. Pigs accused of killing children, goats charged with theft, even swarms of insects blamed for ruining crops. These animals were given lawyers, judges, and sometimes even death sentences. Picture a serious courtroom, a pig standing in the dock, while officials read charges aloud. Justice in the Middle Ages could be just as absurd as it was cruel. Your local barber in the Middle Ages did a lot more than cut hair. Need a tooth pulled? He did it. Need blood drained? He did that too. Some even tried surgery. That striped barber's pole we still see today comes from bloody rags drying outside their shops. People walked in for a shave and sometimes walked out missing a tooth or a lot of blood. It was a haircut and a health risk, all in one stop. Medieval medicine could be pure comedy. Doctors strapped live chickens to plague sores, tied frogs around throats for coughs, boiled owls for soup, ground up precious gems for patients to swallow, and stuffed people with bundles of herbs, hoping something would work. Most of it didn't help, but neighbors probably had a good laugh watching the so-called treatments. Nobles dazzled in gold, silk, and jewels, but many avoided bathing, believing water spread disease. Instead, they wiped down with scented cloths and poured on perfume. Court halls glittered with wealth, but smelled so bad that servants whispered jokes behind their masters' backs. To the outside world, they looked magnificent. Up close, they were unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Peasants kept goats and chickens, but nobles wanted to stand out. They kept bears on chains, monkeys in castles, and peacocks strutting across courtyards. A lady walking her bear must have turned heads, but it also made peasants burst out laughing. Knights proudly posed with monkeys, and nobles bragged about exotic birds. For them it was prestige. For everyone else, It was comedy. Subscribe for more. These stories may sound unbelievable, but many come from real medieval records, with a touch of exaggeration. History isn't just kings and battles. It's strange customs, odd habits, and moments that remind us people in the past were just as silly as we are today. So take these tales lightly, enjoy the humor, and remember, the Middle Ages weren't only dark, they were hilariously weird.